Hello, welcome back. Week 3. So, what we're working on here is clarity, communication, and connection, restoring your family. And we worked on in week 1 who am I um, by instinct and who I am by design, and um, what do my 3 brains do to control the influence that I have on myself and others in the world, right? So that was pretty cool. And then last week we looked at who do I want to be? And that's a really huge lesson. Making that defining declaration about this is who I want to be. And, that can change just because you decide today that, you want to be a superhero. Um, and then you find out that that's not a good fit. That's okay. But we will need to go on record and set that stage for who we want to be and what we want to create in our life. And how big it is has no limitations. It's truly about inviting awesomeness into our lives. And then we worked on, clearing some clutter and changing our patterns of thought. And so a few experiential exercises last week. So this is the true anchoring one about clarity, communication, and connection. And it's entitled Honoring My Yes and No. So we can be very vague in our communication. We have a pattern of communication that kind of avoids the real message that we'd love to say, but it's too risky to ask for what we want, to make an actual declaration that I need your attention. Instead, you say something that's a little bit outside of that. So communication has become a pattern of safety. And we actually are relying on the person receiving the information to figure it out so that we don't have to be fully all in because we're not really sure if that's okay. So this week, the work that we're doing here about honoring our yes and no is for us personally to really decide this is a yes and this is a no. And what does that mean? I ask that question a lot in this training. What does it mean to honor your yeses and nos? So there's a paradigm that goes like this. Everything that we do, everything, is either an act of love or a cry for love. We are either giving love, our best self, or we're in need of something. We need to receive love, a cry for love. So if we're unclear about what we're asking because we're not sure what our yeses and nos are, then we're actually operating from a cry for love. Not in judgment is this what we're talking about. It's never about judgment. It's just about knowing. It's just about recognizing that we can divert our actual communication with vagueness because we ourselves aren't sure, and we have a pattern with our people in our lives that everybody's gotten used to mistruth or avoidance or distraction or whatever. There's a lot of those mechanisms that go on in communication. So if everything is an act of love or a cry for love, could we pay attention to when we speak, when we ask, when we're in communication? Are we coming from a position of confidence and giving and love and safety? Or are we in need of something and are we truly asking for it? That's where the deception comes from when we don't ask for it because it feels unsafe. What if they say no? I'd rather just kind of scoot around and see if they can figure it out for me. And then maybe if they say yes, it's great. But if they don't say no, if they don't and they say no, then I'm not at risk because I never really said what I wanted. And that's confusing for everybody. So this exercise is about really truly finding out some of your hard yeses and hard nos. Again, I'm going to say, what does that mean? So, for example, a hard yes could be that when my husband, my son, my parent come home, and the first thing they do is start to criticize me, that's a hard no. I don't deserve that. It's not nice. And I know that you're in a bad place, but that's a hard no for me. So we just start today by writing down the experiences that we have that we don't want to have to tolerate. And then we'll figure out a little bit later how to have that communication that says, I'm really uncomfortable when you come home from work or play or grocery shopping, and the first thing that you do is start to criticize me. So that's a hard no. A hard yes is, for example, my friends are really important to me, and I'd like to be able to visit with my girlfriends, my teenage friends, my golfing buddies on this particular time, on this particular schedule, without feeling guilty about it. That's a yes. How you want to run your life, you get to decide. So in the assignment for today, we're just going to name 3 yeses and 3 nos that are kind of at the top of the list. So that means that you've got to kind of sit down and think about it. So give yourself some reflection time. When do I feel that I just want to say, stop it, that's not okay, but we don't, because that's the relationship that's been going on for a while. Write it down. Choose one of these things. And this is between you and I. We're not putting this up on a flag and showing the whole world. This is just you and I. And so when we get to that place where we can really say what our yeses and nos are, we can expand that list once we start to get a good understanding of what this means. And what this means is that we get to move forward in the next module on how to actually have this communication that goes on record, honestly and lovingly, that this is what is okay for me and this is what is not. But more important than anything is that ambivalence creates confusion for both you and the people in your life. So years ago, I was working with an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming guru, Michael Burnoff. And the thing that was most important to me was this experience of congruency, that my insides matched my outsides. I didn't want to be someone else. I wanted to be able to have a good centered internal, understanding of myself, which I had been working on for years, but expressing it, sharing it, owning it was something that was lacking. So when I did this NLP training, I discovered how to go on record honestly and lovingly, because it became important to me. And then I practiced how to have those conversations, and it became easier and easier. And so, years later, if you asked any of my closest friends, they'd say, what's the nicest quality about Terry? There was a common answer that it was authenticity, because the congruency of my insides matched my outsides. And that's what this is about. Communication, clarity, and connection in your family is about first you knowing who you are and what you want and what you don't want, and then being able to have the ability to convey that in a loving way. So in this worksheet, in this week's assignment, there are 2 pages of commonly felt feelings and then another page of desired feelings. So there's just kind of this beautiful background of yin yang energy on both pages. But on each page are a variety of emotions that we can feel. And sometimes we have a hard time naming them. So I'm giving you kind of a cheat sheet. Okay, so you can look at the first one, and which are common feelings that we can have, and find the ones that you resonate with more often. These are the places that I find myself more frequently than not. And choose 3, choose 6, choose all of them. And then the second page is more desired feelings. Like, yeah, I'm often really sad, but I really would rather be patient or understanding or hopeful, right? So if we're not in our best state, which we're assuming that we're growing here, and so we're working from a place where we really want to up level our life. So if we go into these assignments, just with honesty, no judgment. How do I feel? Today's a super gloomy day. It's been raining for a couple of days. The river is busting outside my window here. There's an island right across from my window, and it's underwater right now because the water level has risen about 2 feet in the rain. And it was a very, very dark morning. And it was like, ooh, this is hard to pull myself up, because sometimes these clouds and rain feel dark. So I went and put on a blue shirt and pretend that it's summer. And, I went from the feelings that were familiar, a dark, gloomy day, to what I'd rather feel. I made a movement. My insides wanted to be happy, but my outsides wasn't really expressing that. I wasn't actually feeling that. So, it took me a good hour and a half. A shower helped, having some food, talking to a friend. So, what we are working in this session, this lesson, is connection and communication. Who am I? We did that the first week. What do I want? And how do I actually declare that? What are my yeses and my nos? And how do I feel most of the time? And how would I rather feel? Or maybe I feel great. You're on page 2 instead of page 1 all the time. Fantastic. Just do the assignment as it's laid out, just so that we can see. And the beauty of this is that we're becoming aware, we're being the observer of who we're being. And that allows us to say, yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I want to keep that. Or, yeah, that's not working for me. I don't like being tired and angry or sad, confused. I'm done with all that. So this is the work that allows us to actually choose and move into other things. And these are the little experiential exercises that are going to help move that a thought emotion needle so that your outcomes are that you feel better and you become the person that you truly want to be. So as always, we're going to follow this up with a Zoom call, and you can reach out to me in an email. You can reach out to me through the stream. Anytime you finish a worksheet, it pops into your stream and you can communicate to me there. You can, again, make a check-in appointment through your calendar on your dashboard to the far right, a little plus sign that says appointment. All of this work here in the initial stages kind of was like, oh, I'm not really sure what I'm doing. So I encourage you to reach out. We want to anchor this stuff good, strong at the beginning, because that's when everything is really new. And then you're going to hit your stride. And you're going to be very comfortable and understand it. So that's our program for today. We are, reclaiming our family through clarity, connection, and communication. We've done that by understanding who am I, identifying truly what I want, and then how do I truly express that by knowing what are my yeses, what are my nos, what are my feelings that I'm most frequently experiencing, what would I rather experience, And am I operating from an act of love or a cry for love? Now, if you just be the observer of those three things for a week, imagine how much more connection you'll have to yourself. You have to start there. I need to be able to connect to me first. And then I can convey to others without manipulation or diversion or sidestepping the relationship I want to have with you. And so there we go. And I don't know if you can hear the rain on the roof here, but it's coming down like buckets right now. And it's very, very pretty. The world needs the new water from the sky above. It's cleansing. It's pretty miraculous the way that clouds create rain, which I just want to say in that is that we're miraculous too. Even though we may feel stuck, we are brilliant. We are amazing. We're stuck. We're feeling some trouble. Things aren't going the way that we truly want them to. However, we are truly miraculous human beings, individuals. And I always want to celebrate who you are. So if you need a 15-minute pep talk, I'm great at that. I love being a cheerleader. When I was in high school, I was on the drill team. Rah, rah, rah. Now I'm a coach on the sidelines of your life. And you know, that this is about you and I am here for you. So anything you need this week, you let me know. We'll see you in the Zoom call. Please text me or call me if you need to, and we'll have an appointment. And I wish you the best this week on the quest to find your true north. Thanks so much.